Wait, let me get my iPad actually and update my TikTok. Hi. I hate how this thing always has a way of making me mad. I don't get why. I don't get why. There's always something that goes wrong. Wifey and the boy. Hi. How are you? Welcome to my little corner of the internet here on YouTube. We love it here. I love having you guys here. I'm just going to wait for uploaded your videos. Okay, I'm just going to wait for some people to join, and I need to update this link on my TikTok stories because I was just on TikTok live just now telling people to come on here, and then the live that we did first, it just kind of went off, and then now we just hoping that it works out. Anyway, welcome to everybody. I'm sorry, not today. Hey, precious wifey and the boy. Unfortunately, not today. Today, I had planned to just do a live where we are having, a bit of a class talking about the things that remote hiring agencies, remote prospective employers are looking for when it comes to hiring people. So that's what I just want to give you guys. It's 5 things that we are going to touch on. Please give me 2 seconds just to update the details of this, so that when people are scrolling and they come across, they know exactly what we're talking about. Do you get it? Would be nice if you just give me a thumbs up so I know if we are getting it. Would be nice. Hello. Would be nice. You see how I'm doing? I talk to myself a lot, eh? Like a whole lot. But yeah, hi. Welcome to everybody. I think it's safe for us to start. Maybe just 1 more minute until 5 past, and then we get into it. I don't like keeping people waiting. I don't like being kept waiting. So I'm going to respect those of you who showed up early, right? Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing? You guys have no idea how much I love being on live and how much I love talking. I think you do. I hope you do and have an understanding. So, here is the thing, right? Like I said, we are going to be talking about the 5 things that remote hiring agencies and prospective employers are looking for when you are applying for a job, okay? And we have already talked before, we've talked about the 5 basic requirements of any remote worker. I like that, Lamon, I love that. I love that we are all present. We are here. I hope I can keep your attention for just at least 30 minutes. I do not plan on talking for more than 30 minutes. I should be able to get everything that I've put on paper to you within just a few minutes. And then if we want to have a question and answer, then we can do that. Okay. I will try to answer some questions when I come across them. But my thing is, normally when I prepare these lives, right, I just want to get everything that's on my paper off first before I can start answering anything. But I would really appreciate it if you guys do leave your questions on here while I'm talking, or leave your comments. I would really love that. Taki, hey my darling. Mtandeni, hi, my name is Nani and I like your live videos and you look, thank you my doll. Thanks. Anyway, So, what exactly are employers looking for? Essentially, I'm going to repeat first, we are going to talk about the 5 basic requirements when you are looking for a remote job. These are not specific to any position. If you are just looking for a remote job, I do not care whether you're a consultant, you are a VA, whatever the position. These 5 basic requirements will apply. That's essentially the fact that you should be 18 and above. You should have matriculated. You need to have a good command of the English language. You also need to make sure you've got a laptop that you can work from. I have a video on this YouTube channel that talks about the specs of your laptop, and you also need to have Wi-Fi. And in addition to that, you must have somewhere where you can work from, okay? Not necessarily a must, but you do need a comfortable space where you can work from, because at the end of the day, you are going to be sitting down for about 6+ hours doing your work. Rather have somewhere comfortable where you can work from. And when I say comfortable, I'm just saying get yourself a chair, get yourself a desk, have somewhere to work from. If you're not in a position to get those things, you can always use the dining table at home. Just don't be on your bed, because trust me, I've done this, I've tried this. Nah, you don't want to be working from your bed for a whole 6 hours. Anywho, let's get into this. The things that you came for. So I've been doing a bit of research lately, trying to get back into content creation, because some of you are just like, hey babes, where are the videos? Whether it's here on YouTube or in TikTok, people are just saying, hey babes, what is happening? So in me doing this research, I came across some things that I'm like, okay, my babes and my guys, they need to know this. And these things apply simply because the world we are living in is advancing. We are consistently using technology, and specifically if you work remotely, you know how important tech is. And it's also very important for you to also know a bit about tech, right? So the very first thing we're going to talk about, which they are looking for, you need to have an awareness of cybersecurity. Are there any of you, actually, before I carry on, is there anyone here who is at least familiar with what cybersecurity is? You know what it's about, or just basic information? Oh, love it. I love it when you guys give me little hearts. It gives me energy to keep talking. I really love it. So please giving me those hearts. Anybody here who kind of understands what cybersecurity is at all? While I'm waiting for somebody to respond to that, I actually did a short course on this morning, and it was amazing. If you don't know anything about it, trust me, you want to do it. We are all online every single day. And I would say it's imperative that if you are at least online, whether you work online or you're just browsing and you just, get on lives and things like that, you want to be aware of implications and the things that happens while you're online. So anyway, the first thing that we're going to talk about here is just basic knowledge. That's good enough. If you do have the basic knowledge, that is actually helpful. And please forgive me, I am going to be looking at my notes as I talk to you. Okay, I see. Ndileka and Relaxation Real Tacky, they're saying they've got basic knowledge, and that is completely good enough. The reasons why you need to know about cybersecurity is because when you start working remotely, right? Like I said earlier, when you start working remotely, a lot of your work, you're using tech. A lot of the things you're doing is online. Actually, not even a lot. All of the work you're doing is going to be online. You're communicating with your colleagues, with clients, different stakeholders you're communicating with. It's going to be online. And there is a risk when it comes to just having things online. There are hackers. There are people who can try to get the information that you guys have. Many a times, while I've been working for this company that I work for, we receive like phishing emails. We receive all these weird things. People just trying to get into our system. So you need to be aware of that. It will help you also protect your work. I'm sure a lot of people are very familiar with like VPNs and proxies. I don't think I'm lying. Keeping your online stuff safe. That is true. A lot of people I know, we are very familiar with VPNs and proxies and stuff. But cybersecurity also includes you should also be aware of this, because I think every social platform actually requires or asks you to set up, multi-factor authentication. That's part of cybersecurity. Please like the live. We have 34 but only 7 likes. Oh, thanks for that. Nigerian prince. Exactly. The Nigerian princes. They are part of why you must be aware of the things that happen when you're working online. And what does this exactly look like, right? Having that understanding, and also understanding just the best practices of how to secure your work online, you can put these type of things on a CV. Like I told you today, I actually did a course on cybersecurity, like the basics of it. If you want to get on it and you want to do it, please go to greatlearning.com. That's where I did mine. It was free. I only had to pay like $5 for a certificate. But it's basic. It just kind of gives you an understanding of what cybersecurity is, and just the best practices to make sure your work is always secured. That's number one of the things that people are looking for. You need to be aware of just cybersecurity. And then secondly, again, because we're in a digital world, you need to be AI and digital literate. In this day and age, why would you not know anything about AI? Why would you not be digitally literate? Why? For what reason? What was the reason? So these are things you're going to need to make sure you put on your CV. Today, I was just like, you know what? We are upgrading, baby. Because our work, we actually upgraded the system that we use. And I just told myself, you know what? It wouldn't hurt for me to refresh my memory. Right? So do that. And then when it comes to AI and digital literacy, you want to at least know the basic AI that you can use. I think all of us know of ChatGPT. You can also get into Copilot. There are so many different AI, what are they called? Systems that you can use. And how you're going to present this like on your CV. Okay, sorry. I'm going to try and respond so that I don't forget to come back to your questions, okay? So Nicole, do you need to do a course if you don't know too much about it? You don't need to, but it would be in your best interest to do that. I didn't know much about cybersecurity. I know that I've got 2-factor authentication on like all my computer, my phone, my iPad, everything I do when I'm trying to log into any type of system for work. I have an extra authentication that I need to do. But I did it because I want to seem competent, you know? I want to seem like I'm doing something within the company. It also makes you a valuable member of the company if you're consistently upskilling. That's one thing you need to do, whether you're an employee or you're not. It's really helpful for you to be upskilling. What's the website? So the website is greatlearning.com. Hopefully after we are done with this, I can put that information in the description box. But yeah, you need to be digitally literate. Basically, just know your way around digital products. Just know your way online. Like, don't be the person, guys, okay, fine. Maybe don't be might not be the right words to use. If let's say you didn't grow up exposed to tech and stuff, it is on you to learn these things. So you want to know the different systems that people use for communication, the different systems that people use to get their work done online, the different, things that you do, the same way I was talking about like your VPNs and stuff. Know the basics of how you can make your life working online a little bit easier and simpler. And those are the things that will set you apart. So in this case, like I said, you want to get to know like the basic AI tools like your ChatGPT, Copilot, everything else is an added advantage. And those are things you can actually put on your CV. Times are changing, y'all. Put on your CV, you list these specific tools and their measurable results as well. Because we all know that as you incorporate AI into your day, into your working life, we all are aware that it saves a lot of time. Yes, sometimes you can, there are times when I've used ChatGPT for like some research. You still need to read through it, which is a lot. But at the end of the day, it does save a lot of time because it is able to put all the information I need in one place instead of me looking for different what are they called, references for me to get all the information I need, right? So when you put this on your CV, you are not going, remember we had I think the last live we had, yes, even Gemini. I think the last live we had, we were talking about CVs. I am very, like, I stress a lot about CVs and how you present them, and you should really do present them well. When it comes to you listing these AI and digital, English has run away, listing that you're digitally literate, and you're putting all these systems that you know how to use. Don't just list the systems and the apps. Tell us how you have actually used them and how they are making your life better. Like, let's say if you're going to note that you use ChatGPT, whether it's in your personal life or in your working life, hopefully it's in your working life, because nobody wants your personal life on your CV, right? When you're putting it down, as me, I am going to put on there that since I started incorporating AI into my work, we can hear you. Oh, okay. Into my daily work life, I managed to save about this much time a day, which I then use to do other things. You know what? So here is the thing with work, yeah? And I think the newbies, the AMA 2000s of this world, work has a different, I'm looking for a word. Work is different from how we just handle our lives, guys. And work is not really about, oh, I don't feel like it, or I don't abide to that. Some things in the workplace you just need to accept, and please do not fight me, okay? When it comes to you getting a job, you have to understand that employers are trying to get as much as they can out of you. So the best thing you can do is to try and present yourself as the person that would be very valuable to them. You putting on your CV that you have adapted to using Copilot on a daily basis. And since you've done that, you are able to save about 2 hours of your day instead of doing manual research on your own. It's saving you 2 hours. And in those 2 hours, I have been able to develop SOPs for this and that. Girl, if they ever let you go, then they are the problem. Do you get where I'm coming from? You always want to present yourself as the person that will do the most for the company. You get? Anyway. Me after 2. Like, I hope she didn't disturb our live. Did she? Did our live get disturbed? No? Oh, relax, girl. I promise you, this girl called me earlier and I said, please call me after 2. I don't understand why she is calling now. Okay. Anyway, so I was saying that the third thing that recruiters and prospective employers, I think we are back, right? Thank you, Master Mats with me, Wifey and the Boy, and Relaxation Hill. Thanks for just letting me know that we are still here. Third thing that recruiters, and prospective employers are looking for: self-sufficiency and the ability to self-manage. When you're working remotely, I think we all know, guys, when you're working remote, hi Londiwe, you need to be someone who manages your own time. You can't rely on someone to come asking you, where is this work? When are we getting this work done? So you really need to be self-sufficient. This has nothing, well, it does have a little bit to do with tech as well, but you really need to know that you need to mention some apps and some systems that you either use in your daily life or you're using at work if you're someone who is employed. And for the guys who are unemployed, I think a lot of you are the ones who have a lot of questions. You'll be like, I'm unemployed, or I've never been unemployed. How can I put these things on my CV? You can already start trying to use these different apps as you are job hunting. And you can use that on your CV because you are already practicing using these things. And when I say these things, I'm referring to apps like Trello, Monday.com, the Clockifys of this world. Learn these things. Don't let the fact that you're unemployed or you are just not working for this period keep you stagnant, okay? Self-sufficiency. I had to fire a guy that had better things to do. Exactly. You see, you really need to be self-sufficient. You can't constantly be asking for help. That was one of the things that in the beginning, not I wouldn't say I struggled with, but it was a bit of a challenge. It was very different from what I was used to. Working on site, I've always worked for like pretty big companies. Think companies like Amazon, DSTV, and companies like that, right? You always have a team on site, like a tech team on site, where if you have problems, they are just a phone call away or like a little distance, a walk away. You can get up and go call one of them to help you. But when it comes to now working remote, babes, you really need to be self-sufficient. And you actually do need to be a little bit tech savvy. That's why we said you must know how to use AI, be at least, have an awareness of cybersecurity, and you will be able to kind of help yourself throughout your day. So learn to use apps and systems that can help you manage and monitor your work. Like I've already mentioned, Monday.com is one app. That's like a project management app. So you can also use it to kind of track your day and how things are going. For most people though, when you actually start working remotely, your company will probably have like an internal system that they use, and you can also just adapt using that. So Monday.com, Trello, Clockify, those type of things. Clockify is actually a time tracking app that a lot of US small companies use when you are essentially starting out to work remotely. Okay, before I carry on to our point number 4, Londiwe, I am always concerned about tax. If you are employed by a company abroad, I really need tips. What do you mean you're always concerned? Because paying tax is on you. Why does that concern you? At the end of the day, the company is abroad, but they still give you your salary, your money. Maybe let's explain it this way. When you start working, right, at least for my instance, you work, let's say, for an American company, you're in South Africa. You are hired as a contractor. So essentially, you're working on a contract basis. And they give you your salary. It is up to you to then pay your tax. However, some companies, my understanding now, some companies, when they hire you, they will actually ask if you're able to handle your tax on your own, or they can then not register for you. You provide your tax number to them, and then they do the payment before they send you your salary. Or exactly, find a tax practitioner to handle that for you, and that won't need to be your problem. Lamont says, I'm doing a career change to working remotely as a VA. This is very new to me. I have a lot to do, a lot of learning. Oh yeah, it is a lot of learning, but it's also very exciting, I can tell you that. Personally, I find it very exciting because I love learning new things consistently. I want to always find something that's challenging. I always want to find something new that I will talk to my sisters, my brother, or whoever is around me. So it's very exciting, and you get to learn a lot of different things, even outside of the scope of work you do. And anyway, so we are moving on, and we're moving to point number 4, which is another point that I've mentioned before in like your basic requirements if you want to work remotely. Here, communication. Also, by the way, I actually have a communication masterclass coming up in October. I hope you guys will join. Communication is very important, and communication doesn't just start when you start work. It starts from the point you send your CV. You click that link online and you're sending your CV. You have started communicating when you put your CV together. So you always want to make sure you pay attention to that. How you present yourself, and I mean present yourself in terms of how you present your CV, is how other people will look at you and take you. And that's how they will picture you presenting yourself as part of their company. Why do I mention this? You want to make sure your CV is as close to perfect as possible. And please don't come for me. Nothing in this world is perfect. I know that. But at the end of the day, like I said earlier, when it comes to work, there are some things that just don't make sense, but they make sense, okay? You want to present yourself in the best light possible. So when you're sending your CV, make sure it's error-free, because that's part of communication. Make sure your punctuation is correct. Check your sentence construction. Make sure there is no error in your spellings. That's the first part of you communicating. So you send your CV, somebody looks at it, and they paint a picture of who you are based on your CV. And it's not just about your qualification, not just about your work background, all that I mentioned, your spelling, your punctuation, your sentence construction, and everything. That's part of you communicating. And then when it then gets to you actually working for this company, you want to make sure you're using clear and concise communication so that you can help in shortening the decision-making process, or even in you communicating with clients or just your colleagues. Another way that you can also, okay, today I've got a little, a lot of things up my sleeves, okay? Another way to show that you're also a good communicator. Mention the SOPs that you use. Those are standard operating procedures that you use. And you know what? When I was preparing this, I was like, oh my God, this is why I personally can't function without routines. And routines are essentially standard operating procedures, if you think of it. In my personal life, I use routines that I know from the time I wake up, I do this, and that, so that I have a good day. Same thing when you're following a standard operating procedure, you are doing it in step by step so that you get to a certain goal, right? So you can mention if you've ever developed any SOPs in your life, or you use certain SOPs to ensure you reach a certain goal. Remember that I've said every time you mention these things on your CV, you want to make sure you also mention that this is what I have achieved from doing this. So it doesn't help for you to mention on your CV that, I created this SOP when I worked at this company. Okay, you created it, but what results did it bring? You want to always prove the things that you mention, okay? What if you created the SOP? Yes, you've created it. And in you creating it, how much help has it given you? What impact has it had? Either you use it in your business or in the business that you're working for. How much of an impact has it made? What change that we can see has it made actually? Anyway, that said, the last thing that I would like to share with you guys, it's the ability to be adaptable and the agility to learn. If you have decided you want to be a remote worker, guys, one of the things you need to commit to doing is consistently learning. Specifically because, as mentioned at the beginning, working remotely means you're working with a lot of tech, and tech is advancing at a very fast speed on a daily basis. There's obviously something that you're going to need to learn. So you really need to be someone who is able to learn, and you shouldn't get tired of it. If you don't have the ability to let yourself learn different things, learn new things, I don't think you would really enjoy. This is when you get to a point in your job where you feel like you're just stagnant and you can't carry on anymore. I was at that point. That's why today I woke up and I was like, I am doing the cybersecurity certificate, whether I like it or not. I am getting at a point where I've been doing my job now for 3 years. And because I wasn't learning anything, my first year, my employers would send me like, do this little course or read this, learn that. And that was because I was basically getting into a different industry. But after that period, I have not learned anything. If I've learned something, it's stuff that I've learned for social media. But I was getting to a point where I was bored of my job. That's why today I was like, nah, we are learning something. And in our meeting this month, I'll be like, yo, I got me some notes. You'll want to know, okay? So yeah, be someone who is adaptable and someone who is able to learn. Whether you learn with other people or you learn on your own, it doesn't matter. You just want to be able to consistently stay ahead of the game, keep yourself ahead of the game. Always be in a position where you can learn something new, which then makes you a very adaptable person, right? Did you guys learn something today or no? If you don't respond, I'm just going to cancel this live and I'll never do it again. Okay? Did y'all learn something? Girl, tell me, because I think you learned something. I just learned from myself as well, okay? But yeah, that is what I had for you guys. And just to reiterate, master maths with me, yes, love it for you. Felicia's, yes, I'm learning. I did. Nice, nice. Hey, Jessica. I'm glad you guys learned something. And just to reiterate, right? I love that you guys are learning. Love it so much. So, what we have learned, just to reiterate, right? The things that employers are looking for when you are sending your CVs and you're looking for a job. You want to be cybersecurity aware. You want to know about AI and you need to be digital literate. And self-sufficiency and self-management, you need to be really good at that, babes. And then number 4, communication. Communication is a very big thing, guys, not just in the workplace, in your daily life. Communication will take you places where your own qualifications might not be able to take you. So if there's anything you take from this, yes, take it as advancing or everything like that, right? But communication is something you should invest your time and money into so that you get better at it. Like I said, you can get to places that your qualifications and your experience might not get you. But if you're able to communicate, articulate yourself, you can go far. And again, I've got a communication masterclass coming up in October. And then lastly, adaptability and learning agility. I am glad you guys could hang out with me, okay? I will catch you guys again. We'll be here on Thursday next week. Again, same time, okay? And yeah, every Thursday going forward, we are going to be doing one of these. For the next 4 weeks, we are obviously going to have specific topics. Like today, we focused on this, which is what, employers are looking for. And then after those 4 weeks, we are just going to find whatever we want to do, and we'll carry on with it. How do I start as a VA? I'm getting a course on that, but I learned it's very competitive. It is quite competitive because VAs, not a lot is required from you. And then, okay, let me take my words back. It's not that not a lot is required from you. It's the fact that almost everyone from any industry can become a VA because of transferable skills from any industry. Anybody could be a VA. So there is a lot of competition. What are some of the ways that you can make yourself stand out? Like we said earlier, you need to always be learning, stay ahead of the game, and add all these things that you're learning onto your CV, guys. All these courses you take, add them onto your CV. Make sure you present yourself as the most valuable person that you could be. If you want to be a VA in a specific industry, then focus on that specific industry so that you are not just casting a net every and anywhere, okay? What are those tools, apps you use for time management? So time management, you could try Trello. You can try Monday.com as well. For time tracking, you can try Clockify. I have personally used Clockify and I've used Trello before, but I didn't use it for very long. However, don't stress too much about these apps. What I would suggest is that you just know the basics of how to navigate certain apps. Because with most companies, once you join them, unless they're like a really small company, if they are not, once you join a company that has been operating for a few years, they usually have their own internal systems that you use for like time tracking and managing your breaks and things like that. So yeah. Wifey and the boy, I'm really sorry. I'm not going to be able to add you on. I did not plan this live to have somebody else. I'm really sorry. But companies always need an assistant. You can find a job. Exactly. I like that. You can. Always love hearing from you. Is the great learning platform professionally recognized? I can't exactly say, to be honest with you. It doesn't look like it's like accredited. But I personally believe that whether accredited or not, if I can gain information, what's the problem? If I have the information, for me, it doesn't matter. If I happen to put that, I did this course and I put it on my CV, if I am asked, is there a certificate or something, I have the knowledge to show for it. Okay, I have the knowledge. So when I put it on my CV, I am going to try by all means to demonstrate that from doing this course, these are the things I learned, and this is how they will benefit you as a company if you're to hire me. So if you don't hire me, then you're the problem. You have issues, clearly. Thanks for your question, Martha. Okay, you need to niche down and master those skills. You must provide value. That is 100% true. And this is not just about VA, hey, this is about anything really. I personally believe this about life, like to the core. I believe this about life, about about business. You cannot be a generalist. If you've ever heard anything, when you try to throw a wide net, you're trying to cast a wide net to everybody, you might end up missing people. If not, you can get people for a moment and then they all just go away because you're not talking to a specific person. And I normally use this specifically for social media. If you want to do something, niche down, have a focus, not just to say, oh, I am Vanessa, I am going to create content online, I'm just going to do everything or whatever, okay? There are people that can say, oh, it works for me, but that's not the majority of people, right? So if you want to be a VA, you want to work in a specific industry, focus on that so that you're not competing at a wide range. Just focus on that, right? To become a medical VA, any advice for a newbie? Ooh, Lamon, so the thing is, I don't quite know much about the medical field, but like I just said now, if you want to focus on the medical field, do all the research you need to do in terms of what it takes to be a medical VA. What are some of the things you need to know? What can put you ahead of everybody else? That's what you always want to do. You don't want to get the knowledge that everybody has. Get what they have and then go the extra mile so that you set yourself up for success. Precious are the jobs that one can do after the usual 9 to 5. I was on a call, not sure if you responded to my question earlier. So I'm not sure if I don't think I did, Precious. I'm sorry. But there are some jobs that you can, others you can't. Essentially though, I don't think most companies would allow you to choose what time to work. Most times you will get to work whatever time zone the company operates in. So if you're lucky enough to get a company that works like that's in PST, Pacific Standard Time, then yes, at 5 you can start working for them after you're done with your 9 to 5. But yeah, most times you're just going to work whatever time zone they are located in. Can't wait to be in the masterclass. Been a while. Hey, Precious. Can't wait for you as well. So the remote work masterclass is going to be on the 5th, and the communication one, I think, on the 2nd. I've been applying and being rejected online. I've learned something new, but I need more advice for remote jobs, and I did 150 hours TEFL certificate. Nice, Jessica. I'm sorry that you've been getting rejected. If you need more information about remote jobs, maybe watch the videos on my channel, or you can watch the videos on my TikTok because there's a whole lot more on TikTok than here. But yeah, maybe watch that. Communication improve any class, ma'am. Yes, so communication, I've got a communications masterclass coming up in October, like I think on the 2nd or the 3rd. I will put a link in the description of this video once we are done. But otherwise, if you go to my TikTok, it's available in the link in my bio as well. But I will put the link for the remote work masterclass and the communication masterclass that's coming up this coming month. Hey Wilma, can you recommend good VAs for me? Not that I know of, but you're welcome to send me an email and I can get you some people because I got access to a few people who would love to be VAs. So send me an email, wifey and the boy, and I will get back to you. My email, team@vchilimanzi.com. It's available in the description box of all my videos here on YouTube. Anyway, guys, thank you for the engagement. You have been so engaged. I love the questions. I really love it when people ask questions because I feel like, okay, my job here is done. I love it. Jessica, take a moment to revamp your CV, make it ATS friendly, focus on answering what they ask and not what you think they asked. Hey, I love it. Don't give up, continue applying and have CV for every industry. I love that. I love that. That's solid advice, Relaxation Hill. Thank you. Thank you for that. Lamon, thank you. Asante sana, babes. Be blessed as well. Guys, enjoy the rest of your day. I will catch up with you next week on Thursday. I will be live on TikTok later today though. But yeah, I'll catch up with you guys on YouTube next week, Thursday. Yeah. Wifey, check my other videos, hey? My other videos in the link, not in the link, in the description box. It's team at vchilimanzi.com. Okay. Had a UK client who ghosted me 3 weeks after I started and got paid though, but lower than the agreed amount, and they called it pro rata and disappeared. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry for that, Precious. Those things do kind of happen sometimes, but yeah, you know, there's always a few bad apples whenever these things happen. Anyways, guys, it has been amazing. As always, I love being on live. I love talking to you guys. So let's do it again next week, Thursday. Okay. Bye. I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the rest of your day.